How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? Hello and welcome back to Arcanum Gaming, and very Merry Christmas to all of you. Today we are ranking all of the point-and-click adventure games that I played in 2025. This is technically part 2, since I did the first half of this video back in June on the channel's 1-year anniversary. So we've already got the first several games that we played, point-and-clicks that we played this year ranked, but I'm going to make some changes to the list that I made earlier in the year, and then we're going to drop in the last 5 games that I played and see where everything shakes out. So stay tuned for that in just a second. Alright guys, here we are. I already set up the list with where we had it in the middle of the year. So a few things that I'm going to change around here. First things first, after thinking about this, Broken Sword definitely is going to come up here above Sam & Max Save the World. This was a very fun game, but it was not a great adventure game. The more that I thought about it, the puzzles were okay, a little kind of quirky, kind of weird. But I don't know. The gameplay itself was not amazing. The story was great. The humor was fun. The gameplay wasn't amazing. And so I'm also going to move Broken Sword 2 up above there. And I'm going to leave the rest of this, I think, the way I had it, except for this. Rosewater is going at the very bottom of the list. It is the only adventure game in a very, very long time that I did not complete. I just got so incredibly bored with it. I don't really understand why this was marketed as a point-and-click adventure, because it's really just a really long-winded narrative adventure. There's just so much dialogue. It's just so incredibly boring. Personal opinion, of course. Some of you may disagree, which is perfectly fine if you enjoyed it. The artwork was great and the voice acting was good. I'm assuming the music was good, but I didn't get to hear most of it because of copyright issues with the videos. So, the gameplay just wasn't there. There were almost no puzzles, and when there were, they were very railroaded, and there just wasn't a lot to do, which is not how I like to play an adventure game. So, yeah, I didn't even finish that one. It's the only game I played on the channel that I haven't finished, and it's the only adventure game I've intentionally not finished either, because it was just too boring. So, that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the last few that we played in the year, and we had some pretty big bangers, let me tell you. Starting off with the Drifter. The Drifter, this game kind of blew me away. First impression from the demo was just insane, and then when I actually got my hands on the game, it was absolutely phenomenal. The artwork was great, the atmosphere was great, the voice acting was great, the music was great. I loved everything about this game, and it immediately jumped up to the #1 spot for me. And I thought it was going to stay there, but hold tight. Up next, we played the Dagger of Amun-Ra. And for me, the Dagger of Amun-Ra was absolutely fantastic. I'm not usually a big fan of Sierra games because of just the hundreds of thousands of ways that you can die in them. And a lot of them just have like dead-end, no-win scenarios. Fortunately, we managed to avoid all of that. I did almost get stuck in a situation with that towards the end of the game, though, in the very last chapter, because I almost missed a few items, and very fortunately, thank you very much to the person who commented, I don't remember your name, that told me I needed to go back and collect a few items from the last section of the game. Fortunately, I didn't have to backtrack too far, so... that being said, the story was great. It was a lot of fun, but it definitely showed its age in a few ways. Like I said, first of all, those dead-end scenarios. The deaths are, that's reasonable in an adventure game, even though we don't see that very much anymore, but the dead ends just not very tolerable. And then the very ending of the game kind of ruined it for me too, where you have to solve the investigation at the end, but you don't get access to your notebook that you've been collecting notes the entire game, so unless you've been handwriting everything down, which obviously I wasn't, you just can't solve the game at the end. There's a couple weird quirks with what they say, that the dagger wasn't recovered even though you found it. A couple little things like that that let it down for me. But it was a fantastic game, and I mean, I probably enjoyed Sam & Max Save the World more for the humor, but just as far as gameplay is considered, I think Dagger of Amun-Ra has to go above it. It's definitely below the 2 Broken Sword game. Well, is it below the Smoking Mirror? I'm not sure. These two are very interesting to me. I actually think that the Smoking Mirror was a better game as far as gameplay goes, but the story was just so much better in the first game. That they're kind of basically in the same spot for me. If I could put them vertically, I would. But I think the Dagger of Amun-Ra, just because of the ending and some of those no-win scenario things, just slightly below. If the ending was improved where you could have access to your notes and stuff, I think it would probably be here, or maybe even above Broken Sword. But it's going to sit right there for now, I think. Up next, we had Wildwood Down. Wildwood Down was a very fun game. Um, it, when I played the demo, I thought it was very charming, and it did end up being very charming. I really loved the main character, and Miggy especially, as a side character. She was a lot of fun. I really appreciated her. The gameplay was decent. It was a good adventure game. It wasn't a great adventure game, but it was good. The story was fine. I wouldn't say it was incredible, but it was definitely entertaining. I really liked the kind of weird 2.5D art style, which I didn't really think I was going to like. And I don't know if I'd really like to see more of it, but I thought it worked really well for the game. It was just kind of fit with the aesthetics. It was a very fun game. Again, going to be somewhere kind of in the middle for me here. I don't know where I would put this one, actually. I think it's got to go... It's either here or it's here. I'm just not really sure. I really want to put it higher, but we just had some really good games on the list this year. I think... Yeah, I wish I could put it higher than that, but it might be above Sam & Max. I'm not sure. No, I don't think so. I think it's going to sit right there, which is also right about the place that the Big Boss Incident is going to go. Probably slightly below Wildwood Down, only because it was a quite a bit shorter game. The humor was great in this. The story was really fun, if maybe a tiny bit predictable. I really enjoyed the characters. I really enjoyed the humor. I wish the game had been longer. I understand, not every developer can do this, especially a solo developer like that. If it had been a bit longer and maybe a bit more meat to the game, it probably would have been a little bit higher up on this list. But I mean, nothing here is a bad game. Really, I mean, Ankh was kind of bad. I enjoyed it, but it was still kind of bad. Blackwell Legacy was just a little bit boring again, not enough puzzles, and Rosewater was, in my opinion, not a good game. Very beautiful, terrible game. But really everything, above Ankh was a good game. Just some of them were better than others. And that's going to bring us into Foolish Mortals, which, as of the time of recording this, I have not finished this one yet. I'm currently on... I just finished recording episode 9. So we're about halfway through the third chapter of the game. There's 4 chapters in the game. Yeah, this one just blew me out of the water. When I played the demo, I wasn't initially blown away with it. I thought that the art style was good. I thought that the setting was good, and I thought that it showed promise. The demo that I played was an older version of the demo, from what I understand. I don't know if the demo's actually been updated or not, but it was before they added a couple puzzles to the first chapter and refined a lot of things. So it definitely had gotten a lot more polish in the final release. The first chapter of the game was okay. It was a good start to the adventure, but things really picked up in the second chapter, and the third chapter has been absolutely phenomenal so far. I can't wait to see how the game ends. I'm really excited for that. So even though we're not complete with it, I have to put this one in the number 1 spot. This was by far the number 1 game I played this year. It blew out everything. It blew out Broken Sword. The Drifter is the closest it came to. It was really, really hard for me to decide which one of these was going to be in the top spot. But the longer I thought about it, Foolish Mortals was the one of the two that felt the most like a classic adventure game. It felt like Curse of Monkey Island, it felt like Sam & Max Hit the Road. It felt like, it felt like Broken Sword, but maybe better than Broken Sword. It felt like it belonged among the 90s classics, except with the modern polish and aesthetics and everything. And yeah, it's my number one point and click adventure game for 2025. Probably my number one overall game for 2025. Maybe since I started playing the channel. Well, I don't know. I don't think it beats Sam & Max Hit the Road, but it's up there for sure. I really hope the rest of the game holds up. Because we're not finished with it, like Broken Sword 1, it's probably going to make it onto the list for 2026 as well, depending on how many episodes we have go into the year. But I would be surprised if it's not also in the number one spot next year. So you guys will know. But anyway, yeah, this is my list. So we got Foolish Mortals, The Drifter, Nelly Kudalat, Spoon and Beaks Ahoy. I'm really looking forward to eventually getting into The Foul Fleet, which is a sequel to this one, because this was a really fun game. I don't know if it was technically better than the Broken Swords or Dagger of Amun-Ra, but the setting, the charm to it, and it was really well made for being such a simple game. Yeah, and we had Broken Sword 1, Broken Sword 2, Dagger of Amun-Ra, Sam & Max Save the World, Wildwood Down, Bagel Boss Incident. We had the Monkey Island fan game, Booze of Monkey Island, Powers in the Basement, Milkmaid of the Milky Way, Willie Morgan and the Curse of Bone Town, Ankh. The first one, well, like I said, we're going to get to the sequels eventually, but those are not high up on my list. Same with the Blackwell games, and then Rosewater. I may or may not ever touch again, so we'll see. If I get extremely bored once I get through my list of like 200 adventure games that I have acquired through good old game sales and stuff, who knows, maybe in 10 years I'll give it another try or something. But for now, that's going to be my list. Let me know what you guys think. Again, these are just my opinions. You may have different opinions, which is perfectly fine. Let me know down in the comments what you thought. And if you have any suggestions of adventure games that I should play next year, I'm definitely planning on getting to Grim Fandango. I keep pushing it off. I've been planning to play it since I started this channel. I think once I finish Foolish Mortals, that's probably going to be my kickoff game for 2026. Other classics that I would like to play next year also include Freddy Farkas' Frontier Pharmacist, which I kind of experienced a little bit as a kid, but never really was able to play it, obviously, because I was pretty little then. And Day of the Tentacle is also on my potential list for next year. And one other game that I want to try and play through, maybe on the channel, maybe not, I don't know, is Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis. And the reason I'm only considering it is because I have technically played half of the game already. A couple of years ago, I picked up the game and I played through the first half of it up to the point where you choose the branching path, whether you do the fist path, solo path, or the team path, whatever it was. And for some reason, I just put the game down and I never picked it back up. It wasn't because I didn't like it, because it was a great game. I just got busy or something and never finished it. So as far as I understand, that's about halfway through the game. So if I did play it, it wouldn't be a completely blind playthrough. Let me know what you guys think about that, if you'd like to see that anyway, though. Aside from that, we've got a few other new games that are supposed to be coming out this year, this year being 2026, that I want to check out, which are Theropods, and I think Mystery Doomsday Valley is also supposed to be coming out. And there were a handful of other demos I played that if they come out this year, I'd probably want to play them as well. So hopefully we'll have a good mix of classics and new games again. But for now, that's going to wrap it up. And hope you guys enjoyed. Again, Merry Christmas. Happy New Year next week. Thank you guys so much for watching. And we'll catch you in the next one. Have a nice day.